Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Martin. I am here to talk about Sonic Forces bosses, the boss ranking of Sonic Forces. Now, in my opinion, Sonic Forces had some good bosses, some bad bosses, and in total, it had 9 bosses, in my opinion. The Shadow DLC had no bosses at all, and I'll be talking about them from worst to best on quality, and let's get to it. And at number 9, the worst boss in Sonic Forces is Zavok, which is a super linear character that nobody already cares about, so who cares? His boss fight is disappointing. He has nothing to do with bees, and yet his whole boss fight is related about bees for some reason. And it's just boring. You start off killing 3 bees. He has some attacks to throw you that are super easy to dodge. Just it's a boring fight where you have to wait so long to finally attack him, while almost nothing happens. He throws like the easiest to dodge attacks, and you're just waiting to finally get that opportunity to attack him. It's so irritating and so annoying. And the only way I died a couple times in a boss fight. The only way you die is by going super fast and just going straight off like the platform that you're fighting on, which I did do a couple times. And in the second stage of this boss fight, the arena actually does get a little bit smaller, but like very barely. And it's like that's the only way to die in this boss fight is to fall off. And so this boss fight's boring, not fun, the challenge is broken, and it is the worst boss of Sonic Forces. At number 8, we have Infinite's second fight. Now, in my opinion, this fight is not boring. It's just irritating and annoying. He summons a bunch of attacks that are like okay to dodge. Like you could attack those dodges, and then you attack him after he pounces for you. And like so far, the boss fight's fun. It's challenging. I like the mechanic that you have to that when you get hit, you travel to the infinite dimension where you gotta dodge attacks. My main complaint, the reason I really don't like this boss fight though, is in its second stage, the only way he upgrades is he starts summoning robots that get in your way and just become such an annoying nuisance that keeps on hitting you. It is so irritating and annoying, and it just ruins the whole boss fight for me. Because it's just impossible to not land into those friggin' robots or to not get hit by their attacks while you're dodging Infinite's attacks already. And in my opinion, this fight is just not fun. It's just completely annoying. At number 7, we have the Death Egg Robot. Now, in my opinion, Death Egg Robot is a very mindless and easy boss fight. At first, I was thinking, okay, like it's fine. It sends some rockets after you and stuff. It sends some shockwaves. But then I realized that I was doing like no damage with the normal attacks, and so I used my Light Whip, and it did an insane amount of damage. And not only that, it took away all the rockets, all the robots, and it basically canceled almost every single attack and did an incredible amount of damage and just made this boss fight like such a mindless fight that I just easily beat with like without trying at all. And so in my opinion, it's just a meh, very easy to beat boss fight or a very challenging boss fight. But since it doesn't have to be challenging, I'm not gonna be ranking it on that. At number 6, we have the Death Egg Robot Alien Creature thingy. Uh, Now this thing, is a decent boss fight. Like, I think it was an actually pretty good boss fight. But the reason I don't really like it is because this is literally an exact copy of the Final Sonic Colors boss fight, except done worse. And so, in my opinion, I don't really have too much love for this since it's literally a copy of the one of the best boss fights in a Sonic game, and also, it's not even as good as that boss fight. Like, I much rather prefer playing that boss fight than this boss fight. I don't know if that's just opinion. But also another thing in this boss fight is you have to spam the attack button an incredible amount of time to attack the boss. Like, you normally do this, like, attacking, like, the normal and bosses. But in this final boss, it feels like it is used way much more. Like, so much more. And so, in my opinion, I don't really like that. And this boss is just a complete rip-off of the other boss from Sonic Colors, and so not much love for it. I don't like it. and I give it my 6th place. At number 5, we have Infinite's first boss fight. Now, this is a pretty fun and cool boss. You chase him on like the giant tail of a snake, and while he's throwing attacks at you, and once you get to him, you gotta hit him. Now, the main problem is the Wisp power, because you can boost to him to get to him faster instead of just normally running. And this boost lets you get to him so much faster and just immediately like be in his face ready to attack him. And there's times where I hit him and then he doesn't even have any time to spawn in an attack. I immediately just boost to him and start just attacking again. The boost is insane. And so this boss fight's literally broken, but without this like Wisp power up, the boss I feel like is really fun, really enjoyable, really challenging, and would be a really good boss if it was not for this one small problem. And at number 4, we have Infinite's final battle. Now, this is mostly just like a chase, similar to Infinite's first battle, where you're chasing after him. Except, I don't think you could do that boosting anymore, so it's not as broken. And the attacks he throws are still, I think, as challenging as they were the first time. Just, you cannot break the boss with that boosting thing. And so, it's a fun fight. I really enjoyed it. But it's just not the best. And at number 3, we have Metal Sonic's fight. And this is basically the same thing as Infinite's fight, just in my opinion, I like this one better. They're both very, very similar. But I like Metal Sonic as a character more, and his attacks are just more fun to dodge, in my opinion. I don't know. It's very opinion-like, but, that's what I think, at least. And, it's just a decent, like, chase, once again. And number 2, we have Eggman, which is a pretty fun, like, challenging fight where you play as regular Sonic and you have to dodge Eggman's giant blade while attacking him. Now, you gotta decide when to attack at the right time, but it's a little too easy. But then, of course, you defeat him, and it ends up the true boss is the Egg Dragoon, which is the actual challenging and fun boss at number 2. It has a huge amount of attacks where it can shoot you with a Gatling gun, shoot drills at you, and just throw stuff out of the ground at you that you have to dodge and avoid, and some stuff that you have to throw back at him also. And I really like this mechanic. I think it's really cool that like you have to throw back his rocks. And this is like one of the main reasons I like it. I also just think it's just straight up fun trying to like dodge all his attacks, and it's just a fun, enjoyable boss fight that I really like. Um and yeah, that's just my opinion on it. It's a really, really great boss. And at number 1, the best boss in Sonic Forces is the shielded Death Egg robot. Now, as you can see, I counted all 3 different stages of the final boss fight as their own bosses. And the reason I did this is because I feel so differently about all of them. I could not think of what I thought of the final boss. They were all just so different in quality and like the way you played them. And so I decided to just count them differently, and that also expanded the amount of bosses there technically was in the game. And this is the best one. Compared to the other 2 stages, this one is really amazing. You have to dodge his laser attack when he goes over, and you have to dodge his throwing rocks. Those are the only 2 attacks, and yet like they provide a challenge because you're on this tight platform that's trying to screw you over while you're trying to dodge these attacks. You gotta jump over and avoid, and you gotta throw the rocks back at him once again, which is quite like a challenge, and it's just fun to do. Like, this is a super challenging boss and a super fun boss, like all in one. And it's the best boss in Sonic Forces.